Hello, my friends. Today I'm going to review a movie from 1984, I believe, called Once Upon a Time in America. And I think that it is a Sergei Leone film, and if you have been following my channel for any amount of time, you probably have at least seen my reviews of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and Once Upon a Time in the West. And I really did not like either one of them. I thought that it was too long and a lots of scenes where at least I think that Leone could have used a good editor, somebody to tell him no. And it might be weird to say this because Once Upon a Time in America is one, nearly 4 hours. It's 3 hours and 40 minutes long. But I feel like, and you can really feel that it is that long. Like, don't get me wrong, it's way too long for a movie. But the actual shots that Leon does in this film are much better. There's much more economy towards the way that the film is shot, and the reason it's almost 4 hours is not actually his fault. He wanted to break it into two movies, but the studio said that that was a bad idea because somebody broke one movie into two parts and it was like a failure. But this movie was also a failure in the American box office because he submitted the film and they're like, "Oh, nearly 4 hours. That's way too long for a movie. We're just gonna chop it down," which I can understand chopping it down, but they also kind of like rearranged it because the movie is all it's framed by this sort of drug dream, and then there's a question of like what happens in the movie, did it actually happen, or is the main character dreaming about it? So yeah, in the real version of the movie, there's like it starts kind of in the middle of the story, and then there is a flash forward and then a flash back, and then the time is not exactly, it's not like a linear plot. And it is actually really good because by the end of the film, you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense the way it was done that way. Um, and I think that this film is superior because Robert De Niro is a better actor than any other actor I've seen in a Leone film. And you might be thinking, well, Clint Eastwood is a good actor. Not in the same way as De Niro, because De Niro, um, it's not like he could do Shakespeare or something, but he portrays this character who has like these really kind of dark and malicious areas in his heart, but you 100% think that he is a good guy. And that's really amazing because you see, like, especially one part of the movie, I'm not gonna spoil it, but one part of the movie, he's clearly not a good guy, and the movie is saying to you, he is not a good guy. He is not worthy of your admiration. But because he's contrasted with these other characters, he looks better in comparison, even though he's not, like, he does two things which are like a bit uh slimy actually. And I won't tell you what he does because it's really good, but I mean, it's not really good. The character portrayal is really good. And James Caan is in this movie too, I think his name is. And this is his best performance as well. No, is it James Caan? Let me check. Let me check. Uh, James Caan. No, it's not James Caan. Uh, no, it's not James Caan. Ah, who is it? Once Let's do this live, baby, live. Once Upon a Time in America. It stars Robert De Niro, Elizabeth McGovern, James Woods. Yeah, James Woods. It's James Woods' best performance uh, in a movie. And I think for the most part, they have like these child actors, and it's a little bit confusing because the child actors they don't necessarily look like the adults, and you only know that these are the adults like when they say their names. And the character that is being played by De Niro, he has the same kind of like little mole because it was kind of an easy thing to do, I guess. But anyway, there's this love interest, and she's played by McGovern, as I mentioned before. And I don't think that McGovern does a good job. Um, and her earlier younger version is played by Jennifer Connelly, who was in, oh, what movie was she in? But anyway, she does this amazing job because it's like this combination of disdain and like prepubescent sex appeal for other prepubescents. Like, you know, you don't like, I don't think that she's sexy. She's like a girl, but you could see why like little boys would find that attractive and why the main character would be kind of obsessed with her. So yeah, that's all good. But yeah, so her acting is actually really great as that character, but when she grows up, like you don't really see the connection between the two characters at all. And the cast is so big that there are like these characters who grow up and you're like, who was that again? I don't really quite follow. The main two characters are easy to follow actually because they look really distinctive, both the younger actors and the more adult actors. Another kind of weird thing about the movie is I guess Leone was used to film quality not being as good as it was when he made this movie because the the blood, and it's a movie about mobsters, so there's lots of blood, but the blood is clearly paint. You know, it sticks to the it sticks to the clothing in a way that blood probably wouldn't. Not that blood doesn't stick to clothing, but blood has a different way of sticking. And it's too bright. Like, I don't know. I've never shot somebody, but usually it seems like, at least in movies, it's a bit darker shade of red. So it seemed a bit like paint. And Joe Pesci is in this movie, surprisingly. I think it's one of Joe Pesci's uh, earliest roles as a mobster, and maybe he was in Godfather. I don't know, but he's really good in it too. He has like this brief little thing. Um, yeah, the movie is all about like violence and like both violence in crime and violence in love life, and I think, as I said, it's Leone's best film. Is it a good film, though? Or is it a bad film? I don't really know because generally I don't like Leone's directing, you know? And I was reading about it, and the movie is based on a book which is by Harry Gray's 1952 novel The Hoods, and Harry Gray was kind of like a mobster in the 30s, so it's kind of biographical. So anyway, Leone really liked this book, and he wanted to make a movie based on this book, and he had the idea in the 60s, but some other company had bought the rights to the book, and they had hired Norman Mailer, the author, to do a treatment for the screenplay. And Leone read the treatment and he's like, oh, this is really bad. This is horrible, whatever. But I wonder actually if that's true, you know, because as I said, the way that the plot is done, is actually quite good. It kind of makes sense at the end, but it does take nearly 4 hours to get there. So maybe Mailer's vision was more tight than Leone's. So I don't know. I don't know. I liked the acting. I liked James Woods' acting. I liked Robert De Niro's acting. Um, yeah, so it's worth watching for sure. It's a tolerable Sergei Leone film. Like, I think if everybody, and I think this is a movie of Leone's that people don't actually point to as being like one of his best. They think Good, the Bad, the Ugly is very good. So I think if people pointed to this movie and said, yeah, he's a genius because of this movie, I would accept that because it is really well done. But I think people think Leone is good because of the other films, and I don't really buy that. So I would say most of Leone's films, and I've only seen three, granted, but most of his films are like 5 or below out of 10. And this one is probably like 7. So it's okay. It's okay. All right. That's what I think about this film. What did you think about the film? Did you have 4 hours to watch it one time? Put your comments in the comment section. If you like this review, if you like my reviews generally, please like and subscribe. My goal is to have 150 subscribers by the end of January. I'm at 105. So that's nice. If you want to support the what I do, I have a Patreon. You can check it out in the show notes because sometimes I review things that are a little less viewer friendly. I mean, not that Once Upon a Time in America is viewer friendly because it isn't, but that isn't the point. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.